Excellencies, right from the 1960s, when our political movement started, initially as a student movement, we were able to see that a country like Uganda, located around the equator, could be very advanced and prosperous on the basis of the four sectors of the economy. These four were identified as commercial agriculture, manufacturing, services, and ICT. In the pre-colonial and colonial times, our economy was mainly pre-capitalist and based on subsistence agriculture, or korra ekida kyonka in our language, meaning working only for the stomach, for home consumption. We also had some artisan craft skills such as obuhensi, blacksmithing, kubeja, woodwork, kunogora, ceramics, etc., and some primordial services such as kuragura, healing, etc. By the end of the colonial times, only 9% of the homesteads were in the narrow colonial cash economy, described as, in quotes, enclave economy, meaning a small island of modernity surrounded by a sea of underdevelopment. That enclave economy of the colonial economy of Uganda was described as the economy of the 3 C's and 3 T's. The 3 C's being coffee, cotton, and copper, and the 3 T's being tobacco, tea, and tourism. The agricultural and the mineral products being mainly exported as raw materials without making final products out of them, except for some small effort of the Nile textile factory of only 23 million meters, started by a progressive British governor, Andrew Cohen, who arrived in Uganda in 1952. Our line, therefore, ever since the 1960s, has been as follows. A, fully commercialize agriculture to achieve food security and homesteads income security by undertaking agricultural enterprises guided by the Echibaro. We use this word Echibaro, meaning to calculate the maximum possible returns given the size of the family land. B, in commercializing agriculture, use the strategy of intensive agriculture for families of 4 acres or less, and extensive agriculture for families of bigger lands. With intensive agriculture, you select high-value enterprises which, though you do them on a small scale, you get good family income. While with extensive agriculture, you can adopt low-value crops, which when you do them on a big scale, you still get good money, good income for the family because of the scale. C, the country needs both the products of intensive agriculture and extensive agriculture because many times one needs the other. D, in our 1996 election manifesto, we identified 7 enterprises for intensive agriculture. And these were coffee, 1 acre, fruits, 1 acre, dairy products, 1 acre for pasture, for dairy cows, then 1 acre for food crops for the family within those 4 acres. And then poultry for eggs and piggery in the backyard, back of the house, at the back. It's called a kanyima or a manju. I think in Swahili they call it uwani, at the backyard there. Plus fish farming for those near the wetlands, on the periphery of the wetlands, not in the center. In our calculation, crops like cotton, tea, maize, sugarcane, and enterprises like ranching could only make money for the family when they are done on a medium or large scale. Recently, our people have been adding crops like palm oil, cocoa, and cashew nuts on the list of the high-value crops that can give good incomes to the families, even if you do them on 1 acre. To do some of the intensive agriculture enterprises, you need inputs from the extensive agriculture products. To produce poultry feeds, animal feeds for pigs, fish meals, etc., you need maize, sugar byproducts, etc. If you are to import all these, it may render your products uncompetitive. We had to do this, Your Excellencies, because in the colonial times and in the post-colonial times, they would make our people grow things like cotton. You hear that Uganda is producing a lot of cotton. Yes, Uganda was producing a lot of cotton. But the families which were producing the cotton were in poverty because nobody had bothered to calculate what is the average land size of the family land. If it is only 2 acres, and you put 1 acre under cotton and the other acre for food, how will the family get out of poverty if cotton is a low-value crop? So that's why we had to say no. It's not just big production for the country; it is production for enough income for the family also, so that they get out of poverty. G, after waking up our people as to the crucialness of commercial agriculture and rationalizing it, we then realized the danger and the unfairness of confining ourselves to just producing raw materials for other countries far away to transform into finished products. A kilogram of coffee may give us US dollars 2.5 as a raw material. However, the same kilogram roasted, ground into powder, and packaged will give the cleverer foreigners who added those steps abroad US dollars 40. So Africans get $2.5 per kilo, and the same kilo transformed into finished products by foreigners brings them $40. This is how Africa has been a major donor to the parts of the world that are managed by cleverer people. Sorry to use these words. We do not only lose money per kilogram of coffee, we also lose jobs. The roasting jobs, the grinding jobs, and the packaging jobs are done by the children of the foreigners, while Africa's children are drowning in the Mediterranean Sea, going for the going to prosperous Europe and running away from the impoverished Africa. I normally tell people that a shirt like the one I'm putting on, which is made here in Uganda, has got 6 job levels. This shirt here. Level 1, grow the cotton. Level 2, gin the cotton. Ginning means remove the seeds from the cotton. Now, in many African countries, that's where they end. They end at ginning. Level 3, spinning. Spinning, you get the thread from the cotton. Level 4, weaving to make a fabric. Level 5, putting colors. Level 6, tailoring. So out of the 6 job levels, Africa has been ending at, many of the African countries have been ending at level 2. All the other levels out, the money goes away, but also the jobs. All those go away. The battle for value addition has been a big one because there are lobbies that want to keep Africa as a raw materials producing continent. In Uganda, we have moved in some areas, a bit in textiles, a lot in the dairy products, a lot on fish, a lot on sugar, a bit on maize, a bit on leather, a bit on furniture and wood products, etc. What is true of agricultural raw materials, is of course also true of the raw materials of minerals, forest products, etc. Uganda discovered some oil about 20 years ago. Up to now, we have not started pumping the oil out of the ground. We're about to start. But the main problem was we didn't agree with the oil companies because they were saying that we should build a pipeline to take the oil, the petroleum, out of the country. Then I told them that I had a rumor that there were human beings here. Why don't we process this petroleum for these human beings who are rumored to be here? It's not confirmed, but there's a rumor that there are some big battle. They told me that oil refineries don't make money. So then I said, but if they don't make money, those who run them, why do they run them? Are they Mother Teresa's? Now, I happened to go to Iran. I went to Iran. When I went there, I said, you people, do you have oil refineries? They said, yes, we have 9. Iran had 9 refineries. Now, here they didn't want me to have 1, just 1. So because of those battles, it took time, but now eventually they gave up. We shall build the refinery and the pipeline also. And the main reason I support the pipeline is that it will go through Tanzania, my other country, so that they can get some share in our resource, which is theirs also. But that's why it's a very big battle. You can imagine somebody arguing, and when they made a calculation, the oil refinery here is very, very productive, very profitable. What they call the internal rate of return IRR is very high, much higher than in other places. So that war of wanting to keep Africa as a raw material producing continent is a very big one. The value addition to agricultural products, this is H, ensures vertical integration in the agricultural sector, from the garden to the table, and from the farm to the wardrobe, for clothes, shoes, etc. However, it also ensures horizontal integration with the other sectors, manufacturing, services, etc. How can you say that you are promoting tourism when all the food the tourists eat is being imported? In Uganda, the hotels serve Ugandan liquid milk, yogurt, butter, sugar, fruits, beef, etc. On account of reasons I cannot understand, some Ugandans insist on eating wheat bread and rice. At 80 years of age, I am very comfortable with my meals of cassava, muhogo, millet, obro, meat a few times in a week, milk for my coffee, bananas, ebinyebwa, groundnuts, obushaza, peas, ebihimba, beans, and fruits, all Ugandan products. It is the bread eaters and the rice eaters that cause us to import some food. I do not eat chicken, pigs, eggs, etc. because I'm from the savannah, but they are abundantly available. Therefore, in Uganda, the hospitality industry is firmly integrated with our agriculture except for rice and wheat. In order to launch our agriculture on the journey of socio-economic transformation away from the pre-capitalist, pre-socialist traditional mode to modern commercial agriculture, we have done the following. Roman 1, politically mobilize through sensitization the people to move away from the pre-money, working only for the stomach, to commercial agriculture with the chibaro, with the calculation. 67% of the homesteads in Uganda are now in the money economy for the first time in human history. At independence, only 9% were in the money economy. By 2013, only 32% were in the money economy. That is why I had to involve the army to distribute seedlings. We had to involve the army to distribute seedlings. I was begging these villagers to get out of poverty. They are in poverty, but they are not bothered. So we had to go there and beg them, please, please, get out of poverty. Here is coffee seedlings, plant them. Roman 2, through scientific research, ensure good quality seeds. I salute our scientists for developing a long list of improved seeds, higher yields, disease-resistant, drought-resistant, etc. Roman 3, sensitize farmers about the best agro practices, spacing, mulching, water conservation, etc. 4, ensure disease control, immunization, spraying against pests, etc. 5, ensure food safety against aflatoxins. 6, to stabilize agriculture, have standby irrigation using gravity or solar-powered water pumps. This will eliminate the risks of the erraticness of the rain. 7, use fertilizers to restore the nutrients in the soil. 8, conduct soil mapping to determine what can grow where. 9, discourage land fragmentation on inheritance because it creates land with disability, land that can no longer do certain enterprises because of the smallness. With these measures, Africa will be a superpower economically. Since ancient times, this part of Africa had strong agriculture. We always have 2 harvests in a year. The harvest of Katumba, the season of March to end of May, and Omwaka, the big harvest of August to December. The harvest of May is called Obujegashe, the small harvest, and the one of August to December is called Omwaka, the big yearly harvest. All this was with the traditional technology and just the rain-fed agriculture. In some areas, however, there was some irrigation in ancient Egypt and the Kilimanjaro area. When Henry Morton Stanley walked through this area, Congo, Uganda, Tanzania, between 1887 and 1889, he wrote as follows on pages 298 and pages 371 to 372, respectively, of his book entitled In Darkest Africa, Volume 2. This is in quotes. A march of an hour and a half in the afternoon, apparently not far from the river, brought us to the populous district of the Babusese. The banana plantations were very extensive, reminding me of Uganda, and their shades covered a multitude of huts. This was in the diary of Henry Stanley, which he wrote on December 5th, 1887. In Congo, he was in Congo, Ituri area. Fields of millet and sesame, plots of sweet potatoes occupied the outskirts of these plantations. And there was ample evidence round about that the land was thickly peopled and industrially cultivated. Later on, while traveling through the Riz area of Ankole in Uganda, he wrote as follows: crossing a narrow neck of land, descending into the basin of the Rizi. By degrees, the mist atmosphere of this region was clearing, and we could now see about 5 miles distance and the contour of the pastoral plateau of Ankole. It was not by any means at its best. It was well into the drought season. The dry season had commenced 2 months previously. Hilly range, steep corn, hammock and plain were clothed with grass ripe for fire. The herds were numerous and all as fat as prize cattle. In the valley, we had passed over 4,000 cattle of the longhorned species. The basin of the Rizi, which we are now in, and which was the heart of Ankole, possessed scores of the finest herds of cattle I had never seen before. This was a white man, Henry Morton Stanley, who came through this area in 1887, 1889. That's what he wrote. Found very powerful agriculture. He was clearly amazed by the scale of production. Therefore, this Africa of having no food, of begging, is not the real Africa, but the colonial and neo-colonial Africa. It is a shame. I need to conclude my remarks by talking about the issue of water for livelihood and for production, as well as the need for removing the non-tariff barriers in the CFTA, Continental Free Trade Area. Uganda is lucky in that we have a lot of water. Our major problem is to persuade our uninformed or misinformed people by guiding them to stop undermining our water resources by encroaching on the wetlands, the forests, the catchment areas, the river banks, and the lake shores. Some other parts of Africa, however, are not so lucky. Northern Africa has got a water problem. Even Southern Africa gets periodic shortages of water. Here in the Nile Valley, we are always arguing about the 85 billion cubic meters of that river at Khartoum, the River Nile. In the past, I posed a question to Dr. Boutros Ghali of Egypt, the following questions. Question number one. Are you aware that the Congo River has got 3,000 billion cubic meters of water per annum going into the Atlantic Ocean? Because here in the Nile, we are quarreling about 85 billion cubic meters of water at Khartoum. But the River Congo is 3,000 billion cubic meters of water per year. In other words, the River Congo is equivalent to 30 Niles. Nile 1, Nile 2, Nile 3, Nile 3, 30 of them in the River Congo. Now, all this water is going into the Atlantic Ocean every year, just going. Is the Atlantic Ocean thirsty for water? Since this is a high-level meeting of Africa, you can tell me whether the Atlantic Ocean is thirsty for water, all this water which is going. Why doesn't Africa discuss with our brother people of Congo about how this massive water that is not used could help the water-stretched parts of Africa? Another question, is Africa aware of the technology of desalination? Because we spend so much time talking about so many things. But I have never heard people talking about desalination. Desalination happens in nature, done by the sun, evaporating ocean water into vapor that eventually becomes rain. Why doesn't Africa intensively study this? If the cost of desalination goes down, Egypt and other coastal countries would become upstream countries, while we that harbor the origin of the Nile would become downstream countries. If this technology of desalination of seawater becomes cheap, then the countries near the ocean can even send us water from the ocean. On the issue of non-tariff barriers, there is no doubt that they undermine the advance of agriculture in Africa. Uganda easily produces all types of agricultural products: maize, sugar, milk, beef, poultry products, etc. The internal market is not enough. However, production is disrupted when in some years, some of the brother countries say they have bumper crops and de-license Ugandan products. Why do you de-license products of a brother country? If you have a bumper crop, let the products compete. I had some issues here with some of the Ugandan inefficient rice growers. Tanzanian rice is better and cheaper. So they were saying I should ban Tanzanian rice. I said, no, I cannot do that. If you are inefficient, get out of business, go and do something else. If you have a bumper crop, let the products compete. After the Ugandan product has been de-licensed, then you hear that the licensing country has now a shortage of this or that. Can they now import it from Uganda? By that time, the Ugandan farmers have been rendered bankrupt, and have migrated to new products such as coffee that are mainly bought by foreigners away from Africa. How would African agriculture sustainable advance with this erraticness? I thank everybody.
Yeah.